Caleb Downs is being regarded as one of the best safety prospects ever. How does he stack up against some of the other biggest names? Stay tuned to find out where we stand on the Ohio State DB. Ohio State safety Caleb Downs is already being considered the best prospect in the 2026 class. Ryan, let's first just talk about what makes him such a great player that he's at least worthy of that consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I think he reminds me a lot of Budda Baker. If you watch a lot of Cardinals film over the last couple of years, I mean, he's one of the better safeties in the NFL, and I think that Downs' game is a big parallel to him because of the size, obviously, right? I don't think that Downs is quite the 6 foot that he's kind of listed at. He's probably more in the 5'10" and a half range, but he's really physical, strong downhill, great tackler in space, and he's incredibly instinctual, which makes a lot of sense when you consider his brother is an NFL wide receiver. His dad was a former college football player and NFL player that also is a college coach currently. So this is a young man that plays with great anticipation, great instincts, and is one of the best tackling safeties that we have seen come out in several years.
He was pretty productive last year, and I found it really funny that during the season people were trying to be critical of Caleb Downs because his production wasn't exemplary. He still had 81 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. And when you watch him, you kind of understand why his production is that way, why he's not a ball hawking guy. He's not somebody who is playing from depth, who's playing from range, who is over the top and just attacking the ball when it's in the air. Ohio State was deploying him very uniquely, and it was deploying him to play to his skill set. He's physical. He's willing to hit. He is a pretty reliable tackler. So they were dropping him in the middle of their defense and a little bit more closer to the line of scrimmage, allowing for him to make plays against the run, allowing for him to make plays against the ball when it was being thrown over the middle of the field. But I think that starts the conversation of why wasn't he playing from over the top? Why wasn't he playing from depth when he clearly has the fluid hips, the speed, the athleticism, and that range to do it successfully? It's just not a lot of coverage reps from him when you watch him.
Yeah, no, I would phrase it like this, Joe. I think that Caleb Downs is a lot better coming towards the line of scrimmage, and laterally it's good, but I don't think that he's a pure, true free safety type that's going to play from depth, that's going to rotate to the middle of the field. There is a big reason, to your points, of why is this kid playing mid-hole, short zone, and some man reps against bigger slots at times and tight ends. That's kind of how he's utilized in Ohio State's system, because I just don't think that he's going to be a tremendous coverage player on the NFL level. I think that he is much more a role-specific safety in terms of coverage that has high upside as far as his ability to come back towards the line of scrimmage and be that tackler, be that enforcer, be that box player. I don't think this is the generational safety that some people are acting like he is. I think he's a very good prospect, clear first rounder in this class from what I've seen so far, but is he a top 10 level player in this class? Is he a guy that should go in that range? Is he a guy that is going to be one of the best safety prospects we've seen to come out in some time? I think that's kind of where the conversation's got a little bit hyperbolic.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of hyperbole when we're talking about him. Very good player, one that is worthy of going in the first round. We need to pay attention, though, to the history of the safety position over the last couple of years and where certain guys have been drafted. And I know that this is going to be perceived as a slight. People are going to think I'm being super negative and critical of him. But we watched Kyle Hamilton slide into the teens, who was a generational prospect, 6'4", could fly all over the field. And anyone who wants to argue with me that he wasn't a better prospect, look at the results in the field now. And the general overthink of drafting a safety early, he has turned into one of the best defenders in the NFL because he is such a rarity. Malachi Starks, same thing happens. His film in 2024 wasn't as exciting as we were hoping for when we talked about him last summer, but he's still a really good tape, and he's still a really just fantastic, fluid, cerebral football player. He goes in the end of the first round for a guy that was projected to go in the teens. Even more a better example here. Nick Emenwari has the best combine testing performance ever for a safety. He goes in the second round. I'm saying all this to say, I don't think Caleb Downs goes in the top 10. I don't think that it is realistic to expect that he will be a top 10 pick, especially knowing the amount of quarterbacks that are going to be in the discussion, that teams that need quarterbacks will likely take them before they consider taking a safety.
Safeties fall down the board, and I want to hyperfocus again at a player that you just talked about. Kyle Hamilton, at 6'4", 220 pounds, was so athletic and had such good range for Notre Dame. They literally asked him to play single high free safety a ton during his time at Notre Dame. That was a rare player. That was a rare athlete. And if that type of athlete and that type of upside didn't go in the top 10, I just don't know how you project right now a Caleb Downs to go quite that high. I think that he will be a foregone conclusion as a first rounder due to his instinctual nature, his mental side, his physicality. But again, we need to pump our brakes a little bit as this kid being the number one player in this class or a surefire top 10 pick. Very good prospect, but just kind of look at the historical trends. Most likely a safety is not going to go in the top 10, especially I think in this style of a guy that I think is a little bit limited in some ways.
Just to quickly, as we always do, to highlight his recruiting background, he was coming out of the state of Georgia. He played at Mill Creek High School. He was the number one recruit in the state of Georgia, the number one safety, and he was nationally the 7th overall prospect in the 2023 class. He originally played for Alabama. He was huge for Alabama's run to the Rose Bowl, and they were knocked out by Michigan. Enters the transfer portal after Nick Saban retires, and he goes to Ohio State. And the rest has been history. Again, fantastic football player. He now gets a new defensive coordinator with Matt Patricia to utilize him this season, and we'll truly understand what he can be as a player. And hopefully we do get to see more opportunities for what does he do from depth instead of the role that he was playing last year in Jim Knowles' defense.
Downs had an argument as the top overall player in the 2023 recruiting class. He was that good. He was a true 5-star player. And we've seen it the last 2 years, Joe. Like projecting as a college football player, he's fantastic. Obviously, he chose Alabama originally. Ohio State finished second. Notre Dame and Georgia were a couple other teams that were in that recruitment pretty late into it. But ultimately, he dominated the SEC as a freshman, played really well for Ohio State down the stretch in their national title run. This is a great college football player who will be a heck of an NFL player as well.
Folks, hit that like button and subscribe and let us know your thoughts below on Caleb Downs. Are you a believer that he is a top 5 prospect, or do you think that maybe he could slide a little bit? Let us know below, and we will talk to you later.